Yo, what's going on, guys? Back with another video. So I apologize, it's been a while. Let me just shift the camera here. I'm actually at home right now. Reason haven't done a lot of videos lately. Just because internship, I've been really busy with it. Trying to get back on a regular schedule. I'm on break this week, so I'll be able to upload daily this week. So we're gonna start with the Monday Night Football slate tonight. I'll be doing NBA tomorrow. Tomorrow and Wednesday. I'll do football for Thanksgiving. And then NBA Friday and Saturday, and then the normal Sunday slate. I should have time for this normal Sunday slate. I'll do my best to get it up for you guys. But yesterday, I ran a slate, did pretty well. I didn't get a chance to post a video about it. I did a $3 tournament, ended up winning $10. Had Derrick Henry and Leonard Fournette and Jarvis Landry yesterday. So those three guys alone got me a huge amount of points. Unfortunately, had a big miss with Matt Ryan, who started out the game actually pretty well. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but you know what? I'll take a $7 profit. I'm good with it. Now let's move on to tonight. So tonight, really exciting game. I'm actually really intrigued for this one, Rams and Ravens. A lot of people are saying this is going to be a low-scoring game. No, I actually don't think so. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think either defense has had a lot of success lately. And I think there's just going to be a lot of Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, and Todd Gurley tonight. I think it's going to be very heavy in the run game. Both teams are run-heavy, run-first offenses. So let's just run through the lineup. You know, not even need an intro. Let's just run through the lineup. So I guarantee you, Lamar Jackson will be the MVP in about 60% of lineups tonight, at least. This guy, I mean, he's electric. Don't get me wrong. But everyone will have him as their MVP. Now, obviously, if you're in a GPP, he's a pretty good bet for running MVP just because, it just leaves you with your flex picks because pretty much everyone in that pool is going to have Lamar Jackson as their MVP. So even if he sucks, you're still fine. Though, if you're in a tournament and you're looking to win big, like me tonight, you got to go away from that. Even though it's really hard to not run with him at MVP, knowing that he's the player he is, you really have to avoid trying to follow the popular pick if you want to win big. So I'm going to run with Todd Gurley as my MVP tonight. I really like Gurley. He's looked a lot better as the season's gone on. Obviously started really slow, but the last couple weeks he's done pretty well. He had 18 points against the Bears last week. He did have an off week against Pittsburgh, but no one was really playing that well in the game. And even though he had 12 rushes for 73 yards in that game, I mean, he didn't have any catches, but that game was a really defensive game, and I didn't really see a lot of offense coming out of that game because those two offenses sometimes struggle. But I think tonight it'll be a lot more leaning on Todd Gurley. I'm predicting 100 yards and a touchdown. Obviously, I could be wrong, but I can definitely see him having a big game tonight, obviously with the Ravens being a run-heavy defense as well. They want to keep their defense off the field, let them have a break, so they're going to be leaning heavily on Gurley tonight. And he actually hasn't been as big in the passing game as late. I think that's going to start up again, too. I think he's going to get a couple catches tonight, maybe even a receiving touchdown. We'll see. I really like Gurley in the MVP spot tonight. I think he's a really good candidate for a fade on Lamar Jackson. Now, I do have Lamar Jackson in my flex. See, I'm not going to get burned because I know how talented the kid is. Really good player. But I know everyone's going to have him as the MVP. So if he doesn't do well, having him as my flex, even if he doesn't do well, I'm okay because everyone's got him in their MVP spot. And with that being a 1.5 times more, if Gurley has a big game and Lamar doesn't, my lineup's going to have a huge advantage in terms of obviously points, but better odds to win the big prize. But if I have Lamar as my MVP and he does shitty, well, I might still cash, but I ain't winning big. So this is why I'm going with Gurley in the MVP spot. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's a good option in GPP, but I'm playing tournament tonight, so I'm running with Lamar in my flex. Another guy who's going to get a lot of touches, obviously, the other running back, Mark Ingram. He's been doing very well of late as well. Obviously, last week he kind of struggled against Houston outside of the passing game. In the passing game, he had the 2 receiving touchdowns, and that basically saved his day. But he only had 48 yards and no touchdowns. which which was pretty surprising in the past couple weeks. Cincinnati, he didn't really do a lot, but he's been getting consistently 12 to 15 carries, and I expect that to continue tonight going against the Rams, who are going to do the same thing. So I'm playing both running backs tonight. You could also play Gus Edwards if you wanted to, but unless he gets a touchdown, I don't really see him hitting that big tonight. He's only been getting about 4 to 8 carries a game, so I don't love that. But personally, I really like Mark Ingram tonight. I think he's going to do pretty well. And then I did not go with a receiver tonight, even though that's really shocking. I love receivers most of the time. But obviously, with those three guys being very, very high in the salary, I had to kind of go in the lower pecking order, which is fine because I think these guys are really good. So first we got Gerald Everett. Obviously, last week was a bit weird. He didn't play in the first half and then got one catch for 20 yards in the second. But the week before against Pittsburgh, he was the only guy on the Rams that was really doing much of anything. He had 12 targets in that game. He had 8 receptions for 68 yards. He still got 10-plus points and didn't even get a touchdown. So I think he's going to be a really good asset today. He had a touchdown against Atlanta where he had 4 catches for 50 yards. Against Cincinnati, he didn't do that well, but the Rams' offense has been a bit weird. I do expect them to be very run heavy and run a couple play action, try to hit Everett down the field. Now, of course, you could run Cooper Kupp, but I don't have the salary at this point, so I'm going lower with Gerald Everett. I trust a lot more with the run game tonight than I do with the passing game. So while Cooper Kupp will probably be in a couple of my other lineups, I don't have him in my main slate, and I don't think you guys should either, just because of his inconsistency as of late. And I feel like I kind of cursed him in the video where I called him Mr. Dependable in the last 2 weeks. He really hasn't done much. I think he had 4 catches last week or something like that. Isn't terrible, but definitely isn't Cooper Kupp numbers. So I'm playing Gerald Everett tonight over another wide receiver. He's priced at 8K, which I think is a really good value. So I really like Gerald Everett tonight. Last guy I fit in, Nick Boyle. I think the Rams are going to have a lot of attention paid. Obviously, they're going to have Jalen Brown, basketball, Jalen Ramsey on Marquise Brown to hopefully shut him down. So I don't really like Marquise Brown tonight. He's been a bit inconsistent this year. He's been kind of a big player bust kind of guy. Going against Jalen Ramsey, I don't expect any big plays out of him tonight. So I'm going with Nick Boyle. The only other guy in the Ravens offense that really has had any kind of success is Mark Andrews, but last week I think he had 2 catches and they were both touchdowns, which is kind of interesting. But I think the Rams are going to pay a lot of attention to that. And sorry, my leg just switched. And I think Nick Boyle is going to get some catches tonight. He had 2 catches for 20 yards last week against Houston. The week before he had 4 catches for 78 yards. And then the week before that against the Patriots, he had 5 catches for 27. So I really like Nick Boyle tonight. He's only priced at $7,000. So I'm actually using all my salary tonight, which I usually don't do. But I really like Nick Boyle. I really like Gerald Everett. And obviously, like I said, I really love the run game tonight. As far as other guys go, I don't love Jared Goff tonight because, like I said, I think the Rams are going to be leaning heavily on the run game. They'll run a couple play actions, maybe try a couple shots down the field. But I really like Todd Gurley. Salary-wise, you just can't fit Goff, Jackson, Gurley, and Ingram into a lineup. It's just not going to happen because you're not going to have anyone to play in your last spot. But I really like Gurley tonight. I really like Lamar, and I really like Mark Ingram tonight. So, wow, it's the first video in a while, so hopefully we get this up, we get some views. I will continue, like I said, I'm on break this week, so it'll be easy to get some videos up. I'll try to post them a little earlier than now. I just got caught up on a couple things this morning with work, but definitely will be free to go for the rest of the week. So let me know what you guys think down below. We'll definitely be running a couple lineups tonight. Follow me on Twitter for any updates at Daily Fantasy Talk Show. Just kidding, it's at Fantasy Talk Show. I always do that because my regular name is Daily Fantasy Talk Show. Regardless, I'll be giving news and updates. If we have any late scratches like the Rams had last week, I'll be sure to post them. But I really like the lineup tonight. I hope you guys do too. And let's get this money.